Hey, good morning everybody. It's Mike from MC Ranch Overland. Hey, I just head about 15K into the woods here and I've run into a lot of snow, and it's been raining pretty heavily over the last few days, so where people actually drive and the snow's compacted, it's turned to ice. So, and I also ran across a tree across the road that was about 2 feet in diameter. I do have a chainsaw with me, but I'm by myself and I didn't really want to deal with that, and Carolyn's at work. I was going to go out there and cook you guys some awesome food, create a fire, even though it's really wet outside. You know, we would have kept warm and I would have put my awning out. But it started me thinking about risk assessment when you're traveling, overlanding, and doing vehicle supported adventure. And I thought what I'd do is just keep it safe today, and I'm going to turn around and we're going to turn the old MC Ranch Overland HQ dining room into a bit of a studio today. And I think we'll start the topic off with EDC, everyday carry. What I carry every day, what I carry in any particular environment, depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing. I don't want to tell our audience what to do. What I would like to do is create content that provides thought-provoking or a thought-provoking mindset, all in the spirit of keeping people safe and creating awareness of risk and things you can do to mitigate that risk. So overlanding and hanging out in the woods is supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to be, you know, wrecking your truck or crashing your truck or getting anybody hurt. So I think I have a few things that I could share with you that you would enjoy. And yeah, so I'm gonna head out of the woods right now. I'll probably be back home in a couple of hours or so. And then yeah, we'll catch up with you once I can make my dining room look like something that's presentable to expose some of my EDC stuff. So anyway, we'll talk soon, and yeah, we'll catch up in a bit. Okay, guys, we turned the MC Ranch Overland HQ kitchen slash dining room into a very rudimentary studio. I've never really done it's not really a gear review, it's a discussion about EDC, everyday carry. This morning I went up into the mountains fairly far, and we got into very deep snow, icy conditions, and also there was a tree across the road. And even though I have a chainsaw and a winch, and I'm pretty confident about my abilities, I didn't really want to risk the MC Ranch Overland Tacoma. And everybody I know is at work right now. So there's nobody to kind of rescue me if something does go sideways. But it kind of made me think about a topic that I've kind of always been interested in. And it's a little bit of preparedness. And I carry specific things every day intentionally. And they have very good reasons for them. And in my mind, everybody should carry particular things depending on the environment that they're in, the time of year, the weather, any type of situation like that, whether you have communications or not, cell phone, etc. So I've got some basics here that I want to go over with you today. I think we'll probably do another video and we'll go over the Tacoma and specifically what I carry in the Tacoma and why I carry it as well. And hopefully we'll pick a little bit nicer day than today for that. And I can actually film and show you, everything, where I keep it and how it's situated and everything like that, and how it's available to me. But for now, one of the items that you do not see on the table here is my iPhone, because it's sitting right here. So the very first thing I do in the morning is restart my phone, because as you know, if you're hooked up to Wi-Fi at night, your phone can get corrupted and stuff like that. So it's always good to do a reset in the morning. After I've done that reset, the first thing I do is check the weather. And that allows me to dress appropriately for the day. And if it's going to rain in the afternoon, maybe I'll take a rain jacket with me. But with EDC, you don't always have to have a pack with absolutely everything in it, to handle every sort of a circumstance and stuff like that. So I try to keep it fairly simple. I have different options here. I don't carry them all every day. But the first thing I do every day and is not actually put on my watch, because I never take my Garmin off, because it takes my biometrics and my resting heart rate and um, my sleep patterns and all that type of stuff, which I'm quite interested in. And if you don't wear your watch, you can't look on the app and see how you're doing there. So I really like the Garmin watch. It's got incredibly long battery life on it. It's got GPS. It's got maps. It's got an alarm on it. It's got a timer if you're parking downtown and you want to set it for your parking meter or something like that. So I find it's a really, really practical watch. Just on a note, we'll go over my keychain in a minute here, but on my keychain, I carry the charging port for it, which has a Type C connector in it. So, but if I put this thing on battery reserve, it'll last like almost 30 days or something crazy. So that's really, really cool. One of my other favorite watches is I have a Hamilton diving watch, and it's self-winding. So if you wear it, it's always wound. I wind it by hand almost every day because mechanical watches don't tend to like being unwound. There are times, depending on the trip or expedition I'm on, I'll actually take both watches and I'll wear them both. I like the idea it doesn't take batteries. It's just a real simple watch and incredibly reliable. But it's also a watch that was a gift from my wife, and I think it's quite a beautiful watch. And sometimes it's just the pride and ownership. So anyway, but I really do like that. But some sort of a timepiece, whatever your flavor might be. I know your phone has a clock on it, but for me, I just like to have the second backup. Then I usually jump in the shower really quick, which takes me literally 2 minutes, and I'm out and I get dressed. And the first thing I put in my pocket is it's a very, very old Zippo lighter. And I actually have the butane jet insert in it, which isn't really authentic. But the one that was in it was just beat like you wouldn't believe. So I find that this flame is very practical, and for lighting campfire, if I have to light a bit of paper, it's very efficient. The fuel doesn't last that long in it, but still, it's a nice lighter. It feels nice. Again, it's old school. It's got a little bit of a pride and ownership, so I really like that. Now, the guts that came out of this one that actually takes the old-fashioned lighter fluid, I put in this Thurum case, which is supposed to be semi-military quality. And the idea is you can clip it on your kit or on your molly. And the other thing is it's O-ring sealed. and the idea behind that is that your lighter fluid does not evaporate like it would otherwise if it was just in this body. And everybody knows, I've never been a smoker, but if you're a smoker and you put one of these in here, this evaporates quite quickly. It still evaporates. This is not a perfect seal, but I find even in the summer when it's in my glove box in my car or my console, usually it stays charged for a good 3 months. But this is a good solid flame, old school. The other thing that's really nice about this is it'll take pretty much any fuel. Now, white gas and gasoline's pushing it a little bit. That's a little too flammable, too much fumes. But any kerosene, lighter fluid, uh, what are some of the other one, lamp oils and things like that. So you have, in more of an emergency situation, if you have this with you, you have a less domestic option to fill it than this, where you absolutely have to buy the butane canisters and stuff. So this goes in my pocket first. Second thing that goes in my pocket is a flashlight. Now, this flashlight is particularly unique. It's a pen light, clearly, and what it has in it is an option for a standard AA battery, and it also has a lithium battery in it, a lipo battery. The nice thing about that is I've replaced the area where you'd put a standard AA battery with a camera lithium battery, and that battery has a 10-year shelf life. But this flashlight has an incredible selection. It's almost 1,000 lumens, and it has a beautiful moonlight mode, sorry, and which at night it's all you need, so you don't ruin your night vision or something like that. And then on its brightest setting, for a small light like this, it has incredible light. It's made of aluminum. It weighs absolutely nothing. And it also has the cranial bezel on it, which is for tactical purposes, of course. In Canada, actually, a flashlight is one of the few things that a Canadian can use as self-defense, and that's actually legal within the criminal code. Speaking of self-defense, I know you see knives on the table here and stuff like that. I was taught a long time ago, and it doesn't matter what the law is, it's how it's interpreted. There's no definitive rules. But in Canada, the best protocol is the least amount of force necessary to stop the threat. And that is cautioning on keeping you out of jail, the most in a most considerate way you possibly could. People that, just because somebody breaks in your house doesn't mean you could or should ever, be very violent towards them. The idea is to stop the threat. Of course, shooting somebody in Canada is not a good idea in any circumstance, and hopefully none of us or our audience will ever have to deal with something like that. But it does happen. So I don't carry this or any of this stuff for protection. I do for the basics of life. If I have to cut something open or, something that makes sense, but none of these are intended for any sort of violence or anything like that. That's not in my nature. But this is a good tool, and it's lightweight, and I always have it with me. I cannot believe how often I use this inside my truck, to look inside my glove box, underneath the floor, looking for something underneath the couch that maybe fell off a keychain or something. It gets used every single day. Next thing that goes in my pocket is my wallet, and this is a Danco wallet. They tend to be a little bit on the tactical side, I guess, but I like it. It's thin, it's light. You can put, at least 8-10 credit cards in here. I only have 2 bank cards, my PAL and my driver's license, and then I have a few alcohol swabs so I can clean my prescription glasses. And then I like that if you happen to go shopping or something, you just want to keep a couple of receipts till you get home. I just put them in this rubber little piece here, so that works out nice as well. It's a great wallet. One thing that this wallet, they say it does, and I assume it does, these are beveled down a little bit. Apparently, if you grab it securely, you could break a side window on a car if you happen to need to extract somebody from a car that was in a car accident, or if you happen to be in a rollover or something yourself, you have a way to break that window. I don't think you'd have a lot of luck with a windshield, but a side window certainly you'd have that. So, and then this wallet sits in my front pocket. I never put wallets in my back pocket, and my flashlight is immediately beside it, and it's hidden away like this, and it doesn't take up any room at all. One other note just about the um, Zippo, which is butane. I use this little pocket that's here. I'm assuming that's what it's intended for. And what it does is, even when it's extremely cold out, the butane is at body temperature, so it lights every single time. Now, redundancy, in the Navy SEALs, they always say that one is none and two is one, meaning that redundancy is critical. So on my keychain here, I have um, my car key for my Toyota Tacoma, for the MC Ranch Overland Tacoma. I have the key that gets me into my camper, and then I have a titanium uh, key keeper that's made by KeySmart that I've had for actually ever since they've been in business. I've had this at least 15 years, and you can get different types of washers that sit in here in anticipation of putting more or less keys in them. And then if you put the washers in correctly with just the right amount, the keys pass past each other nicely, so they don't jam when you're trying to open and close them and stuff like that. So then I have my house keys. I have a little screwdriver, which again is always at the tip of my fingertips. I really, really enjoy that. So those are my house keys and keys for my camper. And I also have keys on my Max Tracks so they don't go missing when I go shopping in the mall there. And then the other thing I have is, I'm a fly fisherman. This is a 10-pound rare earth magnet. And depending on which side of the magnet it is, the opposing side is obviously magnetic on ferrous metals. And when I go out in my truck and I leave my truck and I'm in the wilderness, I stick this in a secret spot on something that's iron underneath my truck. It doesn't get wet, and no matter what, I always know where my keys are. So that's an important little feature I have here. I really, really love that. I have a titanium, it's like a carabiner, but actually it's a very secure, you kind of have to put something in the bottom here, and then it loops up in front. And if you do have to hook it off something, I don't like to have things randomly hooked on where they're just, dangling, just in case there's a catastrophic failure. I don't want this to lose, but I do use clips and still have the keys in my pocket. So in this configuration, if I were to clip it on, the keys would live in my pocket like this, and then I would clip it on one of my belt loops. In this case, it would be this one, and then they're accessible, and the weight of the keys don't fall down to the bottom of my pocket where it might become uncomfortable. Now, you probably noticed I wear eyeglasses, so a part of my EDC every day is my prescription glasses, which also are photochromatic, so they turn into sunglasses as well. I have two pairs like this, and then a dedicated sunglass. But as somebody that requires glasses to see, I can get around like this, but I can't read a book or something like that. So I found these on Amazon, but I know you can buy them in many different places. But this retention device is absolutely brilliant in my eyes. The thing I love about it so much, it's if you're just going to restaurants or hanging around the city and stuff like that, you don't maybe absolutely need it, but it fits tight enough around the back of my head that the glasses can never fall off, which is a big deal when you're changing a tire or working on your engine or something like that. But then you still have the capacity to stretch these out like this, and now you have this, and you can look like Grandpa Joe, right? Which I'm 64 years old. That'll be happening one day, but not yet. So anyway, so I really love this. I don't have them on today, but I have 2 or 3 of these, and I keep these in my kind of where I put my coffee cup in my truck, and I just keep it like this, tucked away, and it's always in that one spot. So going forward, so we were working on the keychain here. My son had gifted me, he was just a little boy at the time. Now he's 28 years old, 29 years old, like how 28 years old, I'm pretty sure. And this is a little um, uh, lighter. It's called I think it's called a beam lighter or something like that. I'm trying to think what they're called. But this one takes the same type of fuel as a traditional Zippo. The interesting about this is I went 2 years without refilling it once, and it has a perfect seal on it. And it's never in my way. It always lights. When Alex gave it to me, um, I thought it was gimmicky and a little bit of a toy, and then I started using it, and I've actually fallen in love with it. So it lives there all the time, and yeah, that's great. The other thing that I carry is the same brand as this. It's a Rovivon flashlight, incredibly bright with many different settings on it. Like, look at that for a small light. And then in another mode, if I could remember all the modes, it has ultraviolet. So this is tabletop mode, so you can just have a like a relaxed light, and it doesn't have to use a lot of juice. I think if you hit this 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh no, 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's ultraviolet light. So, not to sound disgusting or anything, but if you stay in a motel or something like that, you can see if the sheets are clean, but you can see the ultraviolet condition it has here. And the other thing nice about this one, it actually charges the exterior of this so it actually glows in the dark, which is kind of cool. With this little clip on here, I wear a cowboy hat. I've never used it in this configuration, but you can clip this onto a baseball cap or a cowboy hat, which is pretty awesome as well. Now, when you're downtown and you live on the West Coast, and we do live in an earthquake zone, or if you're in a car accident and your car's upside down, voices don't carry very far. If you're in the wilderness and you're beside a river, you can't hear somebody if they're 25 meters away. So this little whistle is crazy loud, like I was barely blowing, and it's made of brass, so it'll get a nice patina. So again, there's a cool little ownership thing there, right? It's not just a piece of plastic, so I don't mind having it on my keychain. Um, some people might think, oh, that's a lot of crap on there. Well, I'm doing this video so people get ideas and they can think themselves cleverly and see what type of environment they're in and which of these items they consider necessary. I personally, all my family, everybody carries a whistle. My wife, my boys, everybody. Tiny little whistle like that, you can never go wrong. I really love the magnet. Everybody's got additional keys. I like them so they don't rattle around in here. So it's a bit of room, but I'm pretty used to it. Um, Also, when I'm off road with this magnet, you don't really want all this weight on your ignition. So I separate this. I lock this in my center console. I know it's away. It won't get lost on the trip or journey that I'm on, and then I don't have to worry about damaging my ignition. So next here I have a handkerchief. Um, I think handkerchiefs are great. I don't think that tissue paper is particularly healthy to blow your nose in and get all that dust and everything. Also, if you happen to have a nosebleed, or maybe you've just cut yourself and you don't have close access to a Band-Aid, you can deal with it like this. And you can buy like a pack of 12 of these Egyptian cotton for for $15 or something like that. So a pack like that will last you many, many, many years. But I think there's so many uses for 100% pure cotton hanky. So maybe a little bit old school, but I like it. The other thing I do is I wear a belt almost every day. I don't wear them with gym shorts or anything that makes me look like a geek. But but this belt here is made by Core. Um, in the old days, when it was still a sport in Canada, I used to do a lot of combat shooting, and I had rigs which I would bear off of heavier gear like this. So this is a gun belt. It's very, very, very stiff and sturdy and can support other things. So for me, other things now are perhaps a knife or a flashlight, could be a set of keys or something like that. But I think a lot of of a very high quality belt. I think it's an important piece of kit. And I used to actually hand make all my own belts, and maybe I should do that again one day. Uh, this one is actually bison leather, and my good friend Richard gave me a belt buckle that was made of mastodon and mammoth ivory and lapis lazuli. It's absolutely beautiful. And that one I also bought a beautiful bison leather. Bison leather is my favorite. So the next thing here would be my daily pocket knife here. In Canada, you're not allowed to have any type of a gravity knife here, but these flick knives like this, where you pull it to initiate it, you are allowed them. This one is carbon fiber, very, very lightweight, stays sharp. It's a very small, medium size. Only ever use it for utility, but man, oh man, I use it a lot. You can see the blade, you know, the bluing is wearing off there a little bit. I've had this for about 4 years now. I've never had to tighten it yet. I do keep the internals very, very clean. It's fast one-handed opening. If you happen to be injured or something, you have to cut a seatbelt off or whatever. And then this one, in Canada, you're not allowed to carry a knife here. It's considered a concealed weapon. So for me, I just wear it here on my lower pocket, like so many people do. And like I said, it's easily accessible and stuff like that. So now then, out of in the same wheelhouse, again, not a gravity fed knife. This is a Chris Reeve large Zavenza. They're not cheap. This is all titanium, CPM. I'm not sure the steel on this exact one, but it's a very, very high quality CPM steel. You know, this is a $800 knife all day long. And this one is especially left-handed because I'm a left-handed dude, and it's very strong, a little bit larger. It's I'm very attached to this knife. It's a little bit bigger, but then again, sometimes I want redundancy, and I will carry them both. Now, when I cross the border into the United States, I don't carry any folding knives because lay people and border guards do not know necessarily what is considered what, and they don't know the laws really as well as they think they might. And I, I'm quite attached to these knives. They're hard to get, and I just don't want any confusion. I go across the border in peace to enjoy the United States. I never would commit a crime or anything like that, but I just don't want to be quizzed. So I don't take these. So when I cross the border into the United States, I keep this locked in my glove box. And then when I'm out and about, I carry it concealed. And before I go into a state, and every state I went into last year, I Googled the law before I went in there. Most US states you're allowed to carry concealed. Again, I don't carry it as a weapon. I carry it as a utility piece. It's very, very thick steel. Again, it has a pommel on the back, which is steel. If you get in a car accident, break a car window, we're going to talk about medical trauma here in a minute, which I always carry. But if I come across a car accident and somebody's trapped in the vehicle, I always have cold fire extinguishers to put a fire out. And I also have several ways to break into the car to extract these people. The thing about EDC and preparedness items, especially if you're community orientated and you think about it, is it's not about you always. Even if you carry some medical and you're not absolutely proficient with it, sure as hell somebody is going to drive by that says, oh, I'm a doctor, or I know how to use that. But at least you have it. So hopefully somebody will be able to figure it out. So that's that. And then here, you may have seen this in some of my YouTube videos already. This is a Folkneven F1, and this is the standard issue knife to the Swedish Air Force. This one I've customized. I cut in my own jimping, which I'm very proud of that because it's absolutely perfect job. I got lucky. And then I put these micarta handles in, which I sculpted myself. I pinned them with brass, and then I've got a coarse sandpaper finish on it. So if I ever get some olive oil on it, or if I'm skinning an animal or something while I'm hunting, it's more tactile and it's safer to use. But I absolutely love this knife. One thing that's unique about it is, although it is stainless steel, it's actually different types of stainless steel. So the edge here, you won't be able to see it here, but it's got a very fine line in there, and this edge has more carbon in it than this, and this is more uh, um, malleable. So this would bend way before it would break. But you could hammer this into a log 2 inches and put a pipe on the end of it, and you'd be hard pressed to break it at all. The sheath I made myself, and I configured it left-handed, and on it I have a ferrocerium rod for striking, for making a fire. But when I go in the bush, again, I might have this one with me because it's not quite as valuable as this one. I keep it in my pocket. If I'm really in the woods roaming around and crawling up and over logs and stuff, I generally don't take this one either. I just take this one, and then it just sits in my belt right like this, and it pops off. The only other configuration I have, which I'll show you one day when I show you all my cutting tools, is I have a larger knife by RMJ Tactical, and that one has got a drop sheath on it. And the thing that's cool about a drop sheath, the knife sits lower on your hip, and that way when you put your belt from your backpack on, you're not getting squished by the knife. The knife's below your belt. So that's something to take into consideration as well. So then here, this is a trauma medical anklet made by John Lovell from the Warrior Poet Society, which is an incredible YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure he's ex-Green Beret, really community-orientated guy. It's got a non-reactive finish on here, so it doesn't matter how much you wear it or perspire in it, it will not, it won't give you a rash or anything like that. And you just wear it around your ankles. So here with I'm just going to show you. So here, this configuration would be like this. I put it on like this, and then it just goes over my jeans, and nobody's the wiser. Nobody knows I have it. In here, I have, again, some redundancy. I have a flashlight here, I have a flashlight here. Here, I have a pen light. Beautiful little pen light. Absolutely love it. And I've got it screwed so it won't turn on by accident. So, but it's very bright. And when you're, doing medical on somebody that's injured and stuff like that, you might not have your headlamp with you or something. So I really love that. Inside here, I have a nasopharyngeal airway tucked in here. So, if people's airways are restricted, you can feed that in. I have a tactical pen here. Again, I don't consider it a weapon whatsoever, but it has a carbide tip on it, and it will shatter auto glass in a second. But then again, just having a pen to write in any circumstance is always an asset. Then I have a soft T tourniquet, and then I have North American Rescue junctional gauze. So I think this is 4 meters or something of junctional gauze. So a tourniquet, of course, you put on limbs, never on your elbow or joint or anything like that. I'm not going to teach now about tourniquets. It's something that everybody should have and carry and put in strategic locations in the vehicle. And then the other thing I have in here is chest seals. And again, I know how to use chest seals, but I'm certainly not a paramedic or a doctor. But if there's some event that happens somewhere and somebody gets pierced in their abdomen or something, even people on dirt bikes, sometimes they get a branch through them or something like that. It's not always gunshot or something like that. And then in the ends here, these actually open up with Velcro, and this one opens Velcro. And I just have the I'm just drawing a blank what they're called now. The steri strips. I have steri strips, and then just a couple of boo-boo band-aids just in case. So, but I carry this almost all the time. If I'm wearing shorts in the summer, if I happen to be at a rally with an expo and a bunch of, guys that are used to living in the outdoors and stuff, you might not look that crazy wearing it with shorts, but generally when I'm wearing long pants, I wear it. So that's that. Now the other thing is, people like to have go bags and bug out bags and things like that. And you always have to take into consideration that some of this medical and some of these items, if you have it all in one bag, that's great. But if you actually start needing it and you have a cargo pant on or some type of a pant that can facilitate putting these items in it, it's better to take your flashlight out of your pack, put it in here, take your tourniquet, put it in another side pocket or something. And that way, if you lose one item, everything's not gone. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you today, because like I said, we are going to do other videos where I'll take you out to the truck and show you what's specifically in the truck and why it's there, is I just have this one little bag here. And this I always take to the United States with me if I go to an Overland Expo or something like that. Yes, you can call it a man purse. This is a really, really cool brand, actually. It's called Alpaca. And it's a very high-tech ripstop nylon. They have orange interiors in them, so it's easy to see. But in this, it's like my little man purse. So in case I've lost my knife or something, I do have another small knife in here. I have, for junctional wounds, again, I have military gauze. This is almost like an Israeli bandage. I also have a full trauma kit made by Blue Forest Gear that I can put on my belt if required. Or I could share it with somebody else. I could throw it to somebody because I have a secondary tourniquet right here. I have a whistle. You know what I said about whistles. You're in an earthquake, you're buried, you're stuck in an office, burning building, nothing like a whistle. Then I have some space blankets so people don't get hypothermia if they happen to be injured. I have one more tactical pen, which again, made by Surefire. Beautiful pen. They don't make this one anymore. I really love this. I bought two of them and I lost one in a restaurant. I still remember the day it happened. I was wearing dress pants and they were very slippery and it was in my pocket and I sat down and it was just gone in a second. So I never saw that again. And then I have the Leatherman shears, medical shears, which the world knows about. They're great. They have a seatbelt cutter on them here, which is pretty awesome. And I like the quality of them. I like that they're compact. And then again, they also have a carbide tip on it. So again, if you don't have to hit a window very hard, it'll disintegrate that window if you have to extract somebody from a vehicle. So again, I hope none of us ever get in a car accident, but unfortunately people come across car accidents all the time. And I'm not the kind of guy to sit there and pull out my cell phone and start taking pictures. I'm the guy that's going to jump in there and do everything I can. So that's why I carry this. And then if I close this up, which is here, lastly, there's one other zipper pocket on this side. And here I carry, again, some of the alcohol wipes that I use on my prescription glasses. And then I have a tactical pen in there, which you saw. And I have a book, a Write in the Rain memo book. So I can make notes, write down addresses or anything, or tell a story. Whatever I may want to have it for, I think it's valuable to have some way to write. And then just in the very, very bottom here, actually it's not in this space here. I'll find it here. I think it's in the bottom of this one. Yeah, here I have, and I also, in most of my packs, I have several chem lights, and these things burn for 12 hours. And yeah, it's just nice to have more permanent light. If you happen to have to hunker down somewhere and things aren't going so well for you, there's nothing like a little bit of light to calm you down and just to, so you can manage. But anyway, I'm going to put all this stuff away a little bit later. So anyway, guys, so that was sort of the review. I've never done one of these kind of tabletops before. I really hope I was able to pass on some useful information. I'm going to try to get this YouTube up for Friday. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I didn't give all the brands and stuff like that. I think that our audience, obviously being interested in overlanding and the outdoors, they have a lot of horse sense and gumption. So I just gave some ideas of what to look for. And part of the romance and fun about owning nice kit is actually finding the products yourself and kind of using them. And the more you use them and the more they work well for you, the more you fall in love with them. So you don't need to buy a Chris Reeve or a Zero Tolerance or a Scallywag or a Rovi Vaughn. By the way, Rovi Vaughn's on Amazon, and it is a Chinese brand, but they are excellent lights. I've had them a very long time. So, but yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. And this is supposed to publish on 2 p.m. on Friday. Hope I'm not making promises I can't keep. And we'll see you on the next one. Like I said, the next one I think we're going to talk about necessities for overlanding in your overlanding rig, or for another word, not calling it overlanding, a vehicle-supported adventure travel. So let's call it that. So anyway, everybody stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.